Hi, I'm Tanvi.
And I'm Veda. And,
Welcome
welcome
to
to
Scapa.
Scapa.
So the world already knows who you are because of your fashionable entry. But if we can start, Tanvi, you first, a little bit about yourself.
Can we just do the normal Hi, I'm Tanvi Veda and welcome to Scapa, or do you need a longer
No,
one?
we need a little bit indeed.
So I'm Tanvi and I'm the founder of Scapa Home Design and the co-founder of Scapa Hospitality, and my co-founder is here for Scapa Hospitality. In Scapa Home Design, we build prefabricated houses and structures. It doesn't have to be houses actually, it can be any structure. And we are actually sitting in one of the prefabricated houses. The cool part about today, where we are sitting, is that this is typically a house that we would build in prefab, and we would also host it on Airbnb through Scapa Hospitality. So I'm excited to have you here because you get to actually see, and the viewers get to see actually how a prefabricated, because a lot of questions about what prefabricated house or a structure looks like. So I'm happy they can see it, and they can see the type of places we also host on Airbnb.
And they can book it as well.
And they can book it
Coming
as
soon
well.
to an Airbnb listing near you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Veda, what about you?
Hi. So I worked in hotels for a long time, and then Tanvi got me out of a job, and now I do this full time. So we run Scapa Hospitality together, where we list and host properties for owners on their behalf, and take care of all of the hassle of hosting guests on Airbnb. We take care of customer interaction, coordinating with caretakers, and basically making sure that your Airbnb listing is doing the best it can, maximizing on revenue, maximizing on room nights. And we have an entire selection of properties in our portfolio at this point. We started about 3 years ago. So now we have everything from farmhouse properties to large villas to really unique tiny homes and unique stays and city properties, apartments, you name it. With that, because we help owners, like I said, host properties on Airbnb, we also help with styling and setting up the place for a successful Airbnb operation. Like this is one of them. We've styled it as well. From that also came another business that was a need based business of actually supplying linens as well. So hotel quality linens. You can take a look at a couple of our beds that we make as well, and we supply that as well. So Scapa Linens is another subsidiary of the
And
business.
decor
Yeah, and of course decor.
and furniture. I mean,
Yeah,
decor
decor,
includes.
furniture, all of that. And then what happened is we started getting a lot of queries. I mean, I'm guessing people like the way our Airbnbs look. So we started getting a lot of queries for people wanting to actually get their houses styled by us as well. We're not interior designers by any means, but over the years we've sort of learned what works for functional decor and for functional living, and having it look aesthetic as well, because that's the main thing that's important in Airbnbs, right? So we started getting a lot of queries from people who are not specifically in Pune, um, wanting help to style their houses, using stuff that they already have, using the layouts that they already have, not wanting to knock down any walls, etc. So we've also launched another service which is called Styled by Scapa, which is like a virtual makeover series.
Now? Five?
So Scapa, okay, let's say you have a blank house or you have a blank plot. We will build it with Scapa Home Design. We will style it with
Styled
Styled
by
by
Scapa.
Scapa. We'll put in the linen and decor
And the furniture. So
and the
like right now you're
furniture. We are
sitting
sitting
on
on
a
a
Scapa for a sofa. You have this, which is a Scapa a decor item. So yes, so we
yeah. We'll
style
do
it.
the linen will be Scapa, like Scapa linen, and
Yeah,
the
and the
last being
hospitality linen also. So that is a B2B business as well.
and the
So
last being, of course, listing it on Airbnb.
which is hospitality. So styled by
Now,
Scapa, home
yeah,
design,
say you
linens
want
and
none
decor.
of this, and you are living in your own house and you want it styled, but you don't want to hire an interior designer or go down that expensive or that long of a road. you can contact us
for
at-
just Style by Scapa. Or if you are another Airbnb host or a hotel host and you just need to buy white linens for your property, so we do provide white linens, and our linens, I would like to add, are one, available, because that is something in Pune especially we see that it is a problem, because it takes, most other suppliers take about 3-4 days to deliver large quantities. We have large quantities with us. And the second thing is,
it's definitely better than market rate.
yeah, the rates are extremely affordable,
How would
extremely.
one order linens from you guys? You have a website or?
No, so you can call us. We have a Instagram page, and we have our number, and that WhatsApp number, you will be given a rate card. It's very simple. You can do that, and because now, especially where it comes to linen, it's we look for mostly bulk orders. It's not like we don't supply B2C. We give B2C as well. So, but most people like to call and order. So even B2B, B2C, whatever it is, you can call us.
So you guys have, for linens or the products that you guys are saying, it's an entire set. Like I can do my entire house from just whatever you guys sell.
Duvet cover, bed sheet, pillows, pillow covers, towels, hand towels.
And then the furniture.
And on top of that, if you want decorative pillows, pillowcases, throw blankets, all available. We make your entire bed. Furniture?
Sofa, yes.
Yeah, sofas,
Sofa,
yes.
Then some chairs that we have available. So our furniture line is slowly expanding, because I mean, our format of doing business in general has been need based, and once that happens, then we add that thing.
But is that also for B2C? Do you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so that's also available if someone were to message you or call you.
That is also, like, especially sofas are customizable, because see, now today we are sitting on this blue sofa, which is, the width of this sofa, the dimensions of this sofa are made according to this house.
Completely customized.
It's completely customized, like where it comes to the colors and
The fabric the
and-
legs, the
Yeah.
size, all.
Basically not mass produced. It's very custom tailored to whatever space you guys are working in. Okay.
And the white linens are mass produced, and it's for everybody, great rates, that sort of a thing.
So I'll have all the links in the description below. So whoever wants to check it out can.
Yes.
So now
Please do.
Yeah. So before we start, a word from my my sponsor. I'm kidding.
Why you get sponsored? Please pass them on.
I don't have a sponsor, but I will soon, hopefully. If I say I do get my own studio once, I'll probably have your stuff there. So then you guys will be my sponsors.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah. So how did this start? What was the first thing that, like, what was the birth of this entire business model?
So I come from construction background. Not that I'm an engineer or an architect. I'm like properly from a builder family per se. Then I did get into that initially, and I was working with my dad, and then I did some projects also as well. And I did it in Pune and I did it in Goa. How this business started, so there was some sort of always a connect where it comes to real estate, housing, building, structures, and all of that. Then I ended up buying a plot of land in this, where we are itself, in one of the, 2 plots down. I ended up buying that plot of land just as investment, how usually people do it, right? And then you don't do anything about that investment land which is there. And then around, I think this was just before my son was born, that I decided, I want to build something on that land instead of just keeping it vacant and doing, and maybe, at least then we will end up coming to the farm, and maybe it'll be a nice place for him to grow up as well, where, maybe come here for a weekend, because it's just an hour away from Pune. So, but then I did not want to go for traditional construction, because it took too long, and I just wanted to do something a little more innovative.
There'll be a cost element attached to it, right? Like
Yes, there was a
traditional will be much more expensive.
Yes, so maybe if you say, per square foot cost with getting a contractor to do it, maybe, is quoted cheaper sometimes, I feel, than even sometimes, building a prefab home. The advantage that a lot of people don't really see, or when I identified, is that it takes at least 6 months.
Yeah,
Even
and time
to,
is money. So
time is money, which is not ever calculated.
it's
One,
not calculated. So I think all in all, it turns out
turns out,
cheaper because you
then
can
I mean,
start
every weekend I did not want to come here every weekend to monitor whether it is done. Another thing
or to
that
fight with the contractor and the
Exactly,
tiler and
and
the
all of
window person and
Yes. So, and then, especially in remote areas, what also happens is that the more number of contractors or vendors like you have. So now, after the house is done, then you require somebody to do the frames for the windows. Then you have to hire somebody else to get the windows in place. So, all in all, if you see your time, the amount of money that you spend because of fuel consumption of going and coming, and then monitoring all of that for 6 months, every weekend to weekend. And by the end of it, one more real big advantage I would say for a prefab structure would be waterproofing. Um, every farmhouse literally that I have seen has waterproofing issues.
smells of
Smells,
mold.
yes, smells of mold, or if it's kept shut for a very long time, that must
Yeah, that weird smell comes in. It's horrible.
Mold. That's mold that you're smelling.
mold. Yeah, so it's just that, it's like, so it needs to be aired out and all of that. So that is something that does not happen in a prefab home at all. Like, there's no smell whatsoever. You can keep it shut for, like, it was shut for 6 months during COVID, nothing.
Yeah.
No smells. So that waterproofing and something which is right for our weather is what I wanted to experiment with. And then finally, that's why I came to the conclusion that I wanted to do UPVC panels, these panels which are made of UPVC. Now, there are many ways of.
UPVC is what?
Unplasticated polyvinyl chloride.
Yeah.
I learnt that.
So UPVC, so usually they are used for windows, like, so for people who it's just layman's.
The outside of the windows? The window sills?
Just the windows, the entire windows. Like, instead of aluminium, they have
Oh, okay,
UPVC in slightly better um, projects. And so that is what the entire house is made of. And the reason that we use that particular material also was versus, say, cement sheets, shipping containers, was so that, we avoid all the things that are required. Like in India, you cannot shipping containers, again, there's height restriction. Today, right now, we are sitting here, this is 15 feet of open ceiling right now. So height dimension restrictions that are there, and then of course industrial looking, I mean, if that's the look that you're going for, is great, but if not, it doesn't have a versatile look. Or cement sheets are porous. Here it's nothing, it's waterproof, you can wash the walls literally. So that is the reason why I ended up doing it I experimented with UPVC sheets, and I built my house. That was it. Then I thought, I wanted more people to come and visit the place. I was not really honestly thinking about it from, I want to start a business sort of a thing. And I wanted people to come and visit and see how they like it and what they think of the material. And then I'm like, of course, coming from real estate and building, and I'm like, oh, this was so cool because I took 3 days to build my house, right? So in 3 days it was up. And
Airbnb was fairly new that time.
Airbnb was fairly new that time, but then I got a great response on Airbnb as well. And then, I had done one previous project, which was a traditional RCC construction project in the city. And somebody had bought like an investment apartment, and they said, okay, since you are selling yours on Airbnb, why don't you do something with that apartment, because it's lying vacant, and I mean, giving it on a long lease doesn't make sense to us. So I said, okay, fine, why not try that? And at that point, then I'm like, okay, you know what, if this also, so first there was Scapa Home Design prefab structures, which was then there, and then I started doing for other people as well, because then people saw the product, liked it, and we went on. Then people found different applications of it also. And then I don't understand too much of hospitality. It's not my at all. It is not my expertise.
And for those reasons,
And
I
for,
mean,
for those reasons, I was like, I need to really partner and find a right partner who not only understands operations, hospitality, but also has the right attitude to understanding and feeling like the business is hers or his as well. And we know each other for a very long time, and I have
we had the same nanny.
yeah. So and then that
Thanks, Sheetal Tai.
yeah.
So just going back to when you said that your house was up in 3 days, is there like more time involved in the electricity lining and the plumbing and things like that?
The structure
The-
is up in 3 days.
Yeah, so when a person starts with the structure, it takes 3 days. Like mine is a very small one, depending on the size of the unit. So it can vary anywhere between 3 days to even 15 days.
To just put the structure up.
Just put the structure up, but now this structure gets manufactured. The panels get manufactured in the factory. So usually, how the process goes is that you will have a. Suppose you are the customer, you come to me, we finalize on the design of the place. Then I put it in for manufacturing. In that time, you have to build a plinth. You or we, depends on who is doing, because we do turnkey projects as well, or we even do only the structure as well if somebody has the capacity to get these other things done. So then the plinth has to be done in that much time. So
I think
usually
you should mention about the plinth also being the requirements are a lot.
yeah. So the plinth requirement now for a structure like this would be that you just have to do soling and PCC. Soling and PCC is basically, soling is putting big rocks, okay, and then on the top of that you do like a slurry of cement and crushed
You
sand.
don't necessarily need to drill down like in a normal
Yeah,
RCC
there's
structure.
footings.
You don't have
You
to
don't need
do
footings.
that.
You don't need columns. That you don't need to dig, because when you start digging, most of the times you know that the quotation of any plinth also goes depending on how deep the plinth, the footing needs to go. So if it is a one-story structure, like only a ground floor structure, you don't even have to do that. So the plinth also gets done literally in 4 to 5 days, and maybe curing a few days. And in that much time, the structure is ready. So the cost of the plinth is also much lower for a structure like this.
But what if it was like a 4-story place?
You cannot do a 4-story in this material. You can do only a ground plus one structure.
Okay.
So if it is a ground plus
that, the plinth that you do is fine.
ground plus one, again, has slightly different requirements. Of course, still not as many footings or as many columns that are required in a traditional construction there. And again, it's much faster. The plinth cost and the time is much lower than what it would take for a traditional, because the whole thing is that it is a lightweight structure. So the plinth, whether you have to go deep down or not, depends on the weight of the structure. So basically, that's how it works.
And it's purely collapsible, and I can transport it to any piece of land.
It's not collapsible. You have to it's dismantleable, you can say. So like each of the panels can be dismantled, and then
And transported wherever, and then I can do the exact same structure again.
Your loss in this case would just be the
plinth,
and
the tiles.
and any other extra wiring that you may have to do. But yeah, in a sense, the structure is.
Is this the type of house that Elon Musk lives in now? Is that what he's doing?
He is also in prefabricated houses, what he says he lives in, but it's not the same technology, I would say. It's slightly
How is it different? What's the catch?
no, there's no catch. Like theirs is just firstly the material is not UPVC, and maybe the requirement is also not that way. Trying to say that what it means to have a prefab house in India versus any other place, like wooden cottages, for example, is something that works beautifully in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Right. But it cannot work in India because of monsoons. There is a smell problem, there is a termite problem, there is maintenance issues that happen, moving that, it becomes a little, I think the integrity, not the structural integrity, but it just becomes a little like shaky sort of a thing if you dismantle it too many times and keep moving it too many times. So I think one of the main things that I would like to tell people, or I tell people, is that try not to think of prefabricated structures. There are many methods of doing prefabricated structures. Do think about what is going to work in your country, because seeing some prefab structure which is in the
A
US
large
or
A-frame or a large
large-
container is not necessarily
necessarily
going to work
work
here.
here,
It's a
because
good
there's
buzzword,
rusting, there is, yeah, so
but I mean, do you really want to be in a 8x10 container?
or yeah, or even if you have to join it, or again, for certain, rusting is not a problem in some
Yeah.
countries. So it's really important to understand what your country requirement is, versus, oh, that looks really cool and I can do it that way. Now, sloping roof for us, really important. Now, if it was, I mean, we are looking to also export now. So if something like that happens, the requirements there are very different. The roofing requirements there are different, because then snow has to slide off. There are insulation requirements are different. Now here, insulation requirements are not that heavy. Good part about our a Scapa structure, I would say, is that we can customize it according to where you need it. So if it is in the US, then we will do it differently. We will use the same panels, but we can do thicker insulation, for example. We can do the roof slightly, it will be done differently than it is done in India. So instead of just seeing the structure and saying, oh, this one looks cool, you have to get into the technical aspects of it, because by the end of it, maintenance should be at a minimum by the end of it. And so Elon Musk's house, I don't know what material, I have not really researched what material per se it is made of, but yeah, it is a prefab structure. If the only you can say similarity is that it is a prefab structure, yes, probably that also gets delivered quicker than a normal structure over there. That's where the similarity sort of ends.
So how would someone say, if I want to get my own prefab structure done, how would I, like, what are the steps to go about it? What would I have to do?
You give us a brief, we draw up a design for you.
Or if you have a design in mind,
Always,
you can
yeah,
share
share
that.
it, and we
Come up with a quotation.
You say okay, then we give it for manufacturing. Then in that much time, the plinth is built either by the client or by us. Then our people come. So the labor that comes is extremely skilled labor. So they come, they put up the entire house. That is what I told you. For my house took me 2-3 days, and so, like, maybe a 2-3 bedroom will take about 7 days. After that comes the tiling, plumbing, electrical, painting. So depending on the size of the house, you can do this. You don't require tiles inside the bathroom on the walls, because again, everything is waterproof. So that happens. Another question, and then then this is done. This is where Scapa Home Design is sort of done with its work.
Then Styled by Scapa
Styled
can
by
come
Scapa.
in for your furniture, for your styling, for your interiors. And then Scapa Hospitality can come in and run it for you and help you make up the money that you just spent on the house. And yeah, all is well.
So do all of your properties which are on Airbnb, do they have the same theme, or is that also dependent on?
Honestly, that's not something that we had ever thought of when we started, because all of the projects that we got when we started was so different. Like, we had an apartment, then we had a farmhouse, then we had a villa, then we had a glass house in the middle of Pune, gorgeous. So they were so different, but we continuously get comments from our guests saying they all look different, but we know it's a Scapa property. So I'm assuming that somewhere our design sensibilities have sort of become. So Tanvi likes very nice modern structures. I love old, anything rusty, crusty, I love. But somewhere, like, the design sensibilities have come together, and there is a sort of cohesiveness that runs through the properties. And definitely the linen helps. We are very specific about the linen that we use. And like I said, that was a need that came out of starting to supply our own linen because we wanted to have control over it.
So is that a look and feel, like, is that a part of look and feel or quality?
You know, Kaushik, I was, like I said, I was in hotels for a very long time. And when you work in a very good brand that specializes in luxury like the Oberoi, it is a lot about quiet luxury. It's about the things that you don't necessarily think of as factors when you are a guest, but someone in the company or the hotel has thought about them for you. Recall value in terms of smell. You walk into an Oberoi lobby, all Oberoi lobbies are going to smell the same. It's playing on your senses, where you walk into one and you remember good times that you've had somewhere else. That is being comfortable in the bed, having that feel of a nice fat comforter, but that doesn't really make you feel hot. Crisp white linen that's also soft but not ironed or starched heavy. Me being able to reach near my bed when I am in bed and being able to plug in my charger. These are things that someone has already thought of for you, so it's not a big deal, right? I can walk and plug my charger there, but I don't have to. So quiet luxury like that, I think I learned because I was in such gorgeous buildings in my early stages of my career. So I try to put
Inculcate your learnings
into any
Yeah, so
house
I
that
think
we do,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one thing where it comes to white linens, it was a no-brainer that we need to make it as, because one thing that we have observed, and I think our tagline initially, or maybe even now, where it comes to homes, to farmhouse stays especially, is that we redefine farm stays for you, because it was always traditionally thought of ki whatever is there in our house, the furniture that we don't require, let's go build a farmhouse which is leaking and is smelly. It doesn't matter. Let's just
and
go
I don't
and
like this sofa, dump it there.
Dump
I
it there.
don't like this. I don't like this pan because
Yeah.
because
So-
it's broken. Move it there. So we are very specific and very intentional about the things that we do put into our Airbnbs. We like reusing as much as possible, whether it's like refurbishing, changing it up, painting it, completely changing its functionality, turning it on its head. We're happy to do that, but we put our foot down about certain things. Like, okay, all soap pumps need to be the same. All
So that's more of a brand importance.
all
That
need to be the same.
And
Linen has to be the same.
And linen, white linen also, there is research which does show that sleeping in white sheets gives you better sleep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody has this whole idea about white sheets and look, feel, and all of that aside, that is also something that we should know, because we do sleep better sometimes at hotels. And why do you?
definitely sleep better.
Yes.
And why is that? Normally, now think about it, when you go to someone else's house, when you're in an unfamiliar environment, basically, even if it's like a cousin or so that you've probably been in that environment before, you don't sleep as well. So then why is it that you're sleeping in a completely alien, foreign, new hotel room that 1,000 people have probably slept in before? Why are you sleeping better there? It's probably the white linen, but it's also like ambient temperature,
Things that are thought
light. Bedrooms need to have blackout blinds. You want to be able to sleep in if you want to. So those are the things we try and think of. And whether it's a room night in a really obscure place that costs 2,500 rupees, or whether it's a villa that costs 28,000 rupees, we try and maintain the same sort of experience that a guest has. So yes, to answer your question, we do think that there is a common cohesiveness that runs through.
Like now she said about the dispensers, soap dispensers. All of them are the same. Everything that goes into all of our properties is the same. Yes, maybe some properties will only have hand soap and shampoo and body wash.
Little Lifebuoy
Yeah, those are, you will not never see it even in a
soap
2 and a,
bars.
The Medimix.
Yes, the soap bar. I
So,
love
yeah.
the soap. It is an amazing soap.
it's a
Nothing
nightmare
against the
soap.
soap. But like you don't want that in a, and it's gonna go to waste, you know.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. Those single-use products are not great for
and a lot of money is wasted because of that, because it's single use,
Yeah.
which you can actually use by buying, you know, in bulk. We do give to our customers or all the Scapa properties, it's the same. So the, like we said, you know, even if it's like the cheapest one that we have is probably 2,500,
Yeah.
anywhere between 2,300 to 2,500 per night, they will have the same hand soap as you know, a property which also is charging 25,000 a night, which we have those as well. So yeah, the number of things, items might change. Like, you know, in some properties we may go and have, say, moisturizer or conditioner, and you know, more of them. But
Is that more in the expensive properties?
yes, so
but
but
the soap dispensers will be the same. Everything will
everything
be the
will,
same.
what is inside the soap dispenser is going to be the same. So you're going to use the same hand soap here was and there. You may not get a, in a 2,500, you're not going to get a moisturizer, but you will get the same.
And I mean, over time, we've sort of streamlined our setup process for Airbnbs as well. I don't know, hopefully, maybe in the future, we'd love to help other hosts. I mean, we're happy to host for you, like that's our main business, of course. We're happy to host and take over the hassle for you. But there are people who sort of want to do who want to have control over hosting their property themselves. Hopefully, in the future, we'd love to, you know, help people set it up and like share the knowledge as well, because it's complicated. There's a lot of nitty-gritties, and guests are I won't say, they're very disconcerting these days. They know what they want, and at whatever price point, everything sort of has to be perfect. And you can't have too many bad strikes on Airbnb, because there's so many now. Like, Airbnb has picked up so well in the country. They have an office as well now in India and all of that, and they're doing so well. And the number of room nights that are being booked on Airbnb is higher. The number of listings themselves and the concentration of them in cities is so much higher than when we started.
Is it easy to get a property listed on Airbnb, or is there a lot of?
It's fairly simple to get a property listed on Airbnb, to keep booking consistently well and to keep doing well on Airbnb and to have visibility is difficult.
How would one do that? So I just put out my own property. I've listed it on Airbnb. Looks great. Costing is in line with what people want. How do I promote it other than the normal Instagram and Facebook? How would I promote it?
You get in touch with Scapa Hospitality. So, okay, everything we've learned, Kaushik, is by doing rather than, because there are so many videos even on YouTube right now about how you can make your Airbnb go like really well and stuff like that. But they are none of them are based in India. And whatever, all said and done, India is a different market. Our client is different. The market is different.
In what way?
Requirements are different. Human touch is very, very important in India. There are so many.
So even right now on Airbnb, like suppose you are traveling and you are staying in an Airbnb abroad, all your messages will go on Airbnb. All your communication will stay on Airbnb.
Yes.
You will speak to your host on Airbnb. They
It's
will write
all
back
automated.
to you.
It is all automated.
It can work
Check-ins
like
are self check-ins. There's a human being is not required
If
in
you don't
the entire interaction.
Whereas over here, we always get questions about, can you provide your number? So we are like, okay, we can do all of that only after the booking is done. But after the booking is done, a lot of the people may not remain on the Airbnb chat.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
they will.
No, a booking is confirmed, everything is done, they still will call and be like, I just want to confirm that my booking is for so and so day.
Confirmed. Now, the description is written. Everything is written, right? Like, so a property, one of the ways you were saying, is it easy to host a property? Yes, it's very easy to host a property because it's just a few clicks away and then you have the thing. It's difficult to complete the listing.
What is that?
Com-
Complete as in?
complete in the sense, see, there are bare minimum things that are required. Like you require 5 photos, you require,
Okay.
Yeah.
you require these things to
You can have, for
list a
example,
property.
something written like, yes, I have ceiling fans, yes, I have an AC. Go to a Scapa Hospitality listing, you'll know how many teaspoons there are. So,
Yeah, so
All the
whether
detailing in
it's the detailing.
Yes.
So if a person can just host it without sitting and doing the detailing versus somebody who,
who's actually taken the effort and
yes,
time to do this.
yeah. So one free tip is that
complete your listing.
complete your listing. So
But then again, if you are doing this as a way to genuinely earn incremental income, it's best to have an agency or a company like Scapa Hospitality who's doing this full time, who are on it day in day out, and
because you have to keep whatever it is, changes have to be
yeah, you have to keep working at it. There are so many then factors that are necessary for a listing to do well.
No, and one of the things
Good
is also
reviews.
credibility, right?
Yeah.
Like, so now in India, in India or even abroad, people have experienced, not just India, actually abroad as well, because my brother also recently, somewhere in Ireland, he was traveling and he said that that place did not exist. It was too good to be true. We booked it
Oh, wow.
quickly, and
It was fake.
yeah, it was a fake listing. I don't know if it was an Airbnb or, but these things do happen.
So let me ask you. Let's say you are traveling with a lady friend, and you're looking to book on Airbnb. You see two houses. One is beautiful, very nice. The host has been hosting for. You can see these details, right?
And you see there are
the
reviews.
the host has been hosting for um, 8 months and has 3 reviews. Nothing else. And then you see another listing, and let's assume that both of these are in remote locations, like, it's a farmhouse, remote locations, you may not have access to mobile network, etc. Then you see another listing, similar pricing or maybe even higher pricing. Host has 1600 reviews and has been listing for 3 years, and the property itself has 189 reviews. Where would you feel safer booking?
Obviously, the latter.
So to build that up, if someone wants to do it, it takes time. You just have to keep doing it. But
Now, it took us 3 years. It took us
yeah.
3 years and 35 listings.
And you guys are still learning.
Absolutely. No, every day is a new learning, especially with the app. It's just like, it's an algorithm. It's exactly like YouTube. It's exactly like Instagram,
Which keeps changing.
which keeps changing without warning. And there are no guidelines. There are guidelines, but
They're not easily
there's
conveyed.
the Airbnb conveys very easily. The communication is top notch. But then everybody's doing that. Have clear photos. Everybody's doing it. Have complete listings. Everybody's doing it. Make sure your guests have a great experience. So then why are we booking more than? Because there are layers to the.
Yeah. And by the end of it, I mean, it depends on whether you want to do it on your own, in the sense, how much time do you have to also give, right? Because,
Do you
somebody
have time? Do you have time to answer a call about, hey, the lock is not working? We have all of the time to do it.
So in this model where you handle Airbnb and the entire thing for your customer, how would that the business model work? Like, do you guys get paid monthly? Do you guys get paid a monthly fee? Do you guys get paid a one-time fee? Do you guys get paid per booking? How does it work?
So we'd considered a fixed fee, quite honestly.
Like a one-time fixed fee.
Not a one-time fixed fee, like a
monthly
monthly,
retainer.
like a retainer.
Okay.
But we sort of decided to not do that and do a commission-based model, because one, we only make money when our owners make money.
Yeah.
So we make sure our owners make money.
and that gives a little it's comforting for an owner also to know that it's not that they are just in
They're
it.
just paying out of the
Yeah, and like
it.
I can basically sit and do nothing and I will still get paid. It doesn't work, and it's not fun either for us. So yeah, we work on a commission model based on the number of services you require. How hands-on you as an owner want to be, the commission percentage varies. But
Oh, so there are also tiers of
Yes, we have properties that we handle completely from start to end on behalf of the owner, because the owner is either not in the country, does not have the time to, or simply just does not want to be involved in the day to day running. So in that case, of course, the percentage will be higher. And then we have owners who are also super involved, who take care of the day to day. When I say day to day, they handle more of the maintenance and inventory and sending stuff if it is over. Coordination with the caretaker or the cleaners is something that we still do. Handling the listing on Airbnb and marketing it on
Even
all.
otherwise, it's not just on Airbnb. You can also book it online directly, direct bookings.
other sites are there like Airbnb?
So we are not on other sites. Like say we are not on Make My Trip or Bookings.com, but we, you want to call us directly. We
do booking on Instagram, or like I can get
yes, you can get
Yes,
a
you
call.
can.
Again, you can call. Scapa Hospitality has a page. There's a phone number. Please call. Each property has a phone number, and one of the things we were talking about was giving personalized service to. So every property has a guest relations manager, and you are going to speak to the same guest relations manager. Versus right now, how a lot of other professionally run agencies, I would say, do it is that there is a toll-free number, and then you get somebody, or you are not going to speak to the same person. Whereas say you are coming with a friend celebrating, I don't know, maybe an anniversary or a birthday, or and then you say, hey, this is what I want. Can this be arranged? Whether it can be arranged or not is a separate ish thing altogether. But imagine if you're speaking to me today, you don't want to be speaking to her tomorrow and speaking to somebody else, because you're
on the same page
Yeah.
for my entire
exactly. So
Yes.
your entire stay has to be, you're speaking to the same person, and you have, so that human touch is there. Like we said, in India it's required, and even more so, it does give Scapa Hospitality, in comparison to other same service, like property management services, we can say, or booking agents. Why are we different? Is because we give you that. We give you the same person, we give you that human touch. If you feel like, because a lot of customers, there are so many times very odd things happen. Like in a farmhouse property, I remember one person, there was a frog that came inside the house. Okay, this was
Yeah.
it. And it was here at this, like my first house. And that guy called me, and that time it was only me. So he called me and he said that there is a frog in the house. I said, okay, like obviously we are here out, so like a frog can happen. And I said, okay. And he obviously knew at 11 o'clock at night I was not going to come there,
Come shoe.
shoo a frog, right? Like it was not going to happen. And then he said, I'm very scared. He called me and he said, I'm very scared. I said, it's okay. Can you find a stick? And then, I'm like, maybe you can just make some noise and try to shoo it away. Why don't you open the window? Maybe he was just scared. Okay. He was really scared. Or maybe,
Here?
huh?
I don't know. Can frogs hear?
I don't like maybe
Maybe.
even I don't know, but I didn't know what else to tell him. And sometimes when you're scared, you don't think.
You just want someone to talk to.
You
Yeah,
just
of course.
need someone to talk to, or all you had to probably do was open the
Open
window
the windows.
so that it can possibly go out instead
Yeah.
of it's inside. So I just spoke to him, and then it went out. I didn't do anything. I gave him suggestions. I think the frog went out by itself. That is a different thing. But to know that there is somebody with you also gave him comfort, because not that he was going to die because of a frog, but just to be, if you are scared and there is someone who's just talking to you, is
Yeah.
comforting. And that is what I'm saying, being able to have somebody. Also we do have a lot of large resort type of, I would call them resorts, I guess now.
Yeah. Anything more than 6 room nights.
Yeah, so we have one property in Karzat now, which is a large there. For having people there is works. I mean,
not a prefab structure.
that's a normal. So we
You're
do.
just
No, but there are two that.
There are 2 prefab structures out of 8. There are two,
2.
that are built by Scapa Home Design. But so we take all properties. Okay, it's not that we only take if it's only if you want us to build that we will build in prefab. So it's not like we said, it's not that one service is dependent on the
Yeah.
On the
other in
other.
any way. So you can take only Scapa Home Design, but I want to host on my own. I don't want to host it only. I want to go and stay there. And Scapa also, of course, the prefab, we also use it for commercial things, like builders can use it for
Site
site offices.
Yeah.
And they can reuse it. So actually that is another advantage, because you can reuse it and use it on another site. And if you can use it 3 times, then the cost of it is almost comes to nothing, and you can have a swanky looking office every time, instead of otherwise you have to just demolish it. Even with things like cement sheets and all, you have to just demolish the structure completely. You get cracks in it because you have to dig for the foundation of the project, and once you start that vibrations from something
Yeah.
even far off starts bringing cracks in the thing. Here these panels are all full length panels,
Okay.
so there can be no cracks. So it has a lot of applicability in other. I've done a bakery for somebody in at Flame. We've done one. The cafe there is prefab, or we've done a pet house.
Closing
there can
in-
be a fully functioning kitchen inside a
Yes.
prefab home.
Yes.
A fully functioning washroom, a fully functioning kitchen. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a
there's
house.
pet-
Kitchen, I meant like a commercial kitchen.
oh yeah,
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 of course.
We've
But then there are
we've done a
also-
pet clinic which has full surgeries that happen in Hyderabad.
But there are a
So
lot of precautions you have to take for like fire and things
no,
like that.
so
When it
this
comes
is
to
fire
commercial.
retardant. So the material is fire
This
retardant.
doesn't burn.
No, like I mean, you'll have to hold it on very very high fire for a very long time for it to catch.
So technically, my house really can't burn down unless it's like out of control.
Yeah, if it's like LA type wildfire, then it's exposed to that much
Yeah.
from all sides. Like it can't be like you putting like a candle,
It's not gonna-
or just like a stove that it's not going to burn down. It cannot burn down because of that.
And also, could I also make a prefab home as the like primary residence? Like, can I do this in a city as well? Like, do people do that?
People don't do that. Can you live in a prefab home as a primary? Yes, you can.
So why don't people do it? Like, it's so much cheaper than building a traditional home.
People don't usually have space in the middle of the city.
No, of course, but like people who renovate their old structures, like they demolish it and then rebuild, right? So why not do something like
Demolish
that?
and rebuild, then in the middle of the city, one, you'd have to like really want to hold on to your land, or it makes commercial sense to have a high rise go up, and
In which case, a prefab doesn't work.
in which case a prefab doesn't work. Like for example, in the middle of Pune right now on Law College Road, is anyone going to give you a plot of land where it is commercially viable to just have my house and I'm done?
And then and then if you have that house, then you will build it
Yeah.
in the traditional way, because obviously you are comfortable also
Doing it. your
doing
way,
it. Yeah, and then you don't want to have that restriction of height or stuff like
No,
that.
you 100%. It'll be. Can you? Yes, you can. If you please, like, let us know if someone wants something like that.
Yeah.
Happy to make it however they want to.
Yeah.
High ceilings, large windows.
Yeah, but
It'll be so good.
but we've not
But-
had clients
Yeah.
do that.
Yet.
As we kind of come to an end to this episode, just want to take it like on a lighter note. So, what are kind of the weirdest things you guys have ever been requested by your
guests
or By your by guests.
or
first guests? I'll get back to owners. Guests.
is the weirdest question?
can I bring my own portable toilet?
No way. Why?
I asked in the most polite way possible. I was told medical reasons. I let it go.
You say yeah.
I asked what would that entail.
So did he bring it or no?
he didn't book.
Oh, he didn't book.
I
Okay.
mean, I tried to understand what exactly he wanted.
Maybe we couldn't give him the clarity that he needed.
Yeah. Or routinely being asked if we would like to join them for for a drink or
Really, that
give them
shady
company.
stuff still.
Yeah, no, of course. But I mean, you can just report that to Airbnb, and Airbnb helps you with all of that. So
Yeah.
that's okay. Um,
And sometimes I think it's people are even genuinely
are genuinely asking, like, hey, we are new. Will you also be living in the house?
because I mean it's like I'm new to the city, and that's how Airbnb works some places. So it's like, oh, will you be in the house? No. Okay, so but will I be seeing you? And I mean, maybe join for a drink. I don't think they
Yeah,
even
not
say
all of them are
shady.
Are they
you know?
shady? But
They are genuinely people who are like alone in the city.
Wait, but there are Airbnb properties around the world where people live there and then you're living with them?
So Airbnb started when the founders put an air mattress in their living room in the hopes to host people that were coming for a conference or a sports event, if I'm not wrong. And they rented out their air mattress Airbnb.
Interesting.
So you can rent out anything that you want. So they and Airbnb is very specific about whether it's going to be a shared thing. You can have shared bathrooms. There are in Pune and in India as well, which are
In Italy you can literally rent a couch.
So that's couch surfing or something.
Yeah, couch
yeah, but
surfers,
it was Airbnb was also has those services.
Yeah, but I mean, like about once in 3 months, we do get like a super shady request, which is fine. We like click a screenshot of it and then send it to the owner saying, "Hey, message of the month."
Yeah, we do have
You
message
win.
of the month.
Message of the month. What else? We had a guest.
Owners? Do they have any weird requests?
No, just
actually.
all of them are all of them are darlings. Really,
Yeah.
like touch wood, we are blessed with very nice owners.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we had one guest who insisted that they wanted to go and stay in another property only, which was there at the same location when they had booked.
Yeah, so they booked one type of cottage and just like went into the other cottage and locked themselves in
Wait, what?
Yeah.
because they liked that one more. It was the whole thing. I got a migraine.
No, can you go into detail? I didn't really get the story. What? So they booked a property.
Cottages. Okay, let me put it this way. You go to a hotel, you booked a room, but you simply walk into a suite and you shut the door from inside and say, I'm getting out. I like this. I'm staying here.
Oh, so it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how did you guys handle
No,
it?
nothing. We were on call and then they screamed at Tanvi, called her crazy for screaming. They called Tanvi crazy for, I quote, screaming in broad daylight.
Oh, and then we
I
had
don't know
one
what
more,
the significance of that is.
and also mentioned that I require mental consultation.
Consultation. Yes. Consultation. For screaming at them in broad daylight. She should have.
For the kids watching this.
Yeah, she should have waited for the sun to go down. She should have waited for the sun to go down now.
And then start screaming. Maybe they just wanted to stay till the sun goes down and they would go into their own room.
Alright, but then that ended with what? Them leaving or them?
No, them leaving. Them leaving.
they stayed.
No, they stayed. They stayed.
They
in
stayed
the
in
other
that
room. Yeah, they
other-
stayed in
the
the
one
other
that they
room, yeah.
booked.
And then they gave us a bad review and stuff like that. And then we got
In
it
that
from-
in the review they
Were both properties yours?
in the same vicinity. Like it was. It's a
the same property.
It's a cluster of units in
Okay.
one property. So they had booked one type of cottage and they liked the other one more.
that more expensive?
Yeah, of course it was.
Oh, so did they pay the difference?
No, and it was booked. Like someone was about to come, and this person is inside.
they came early. They came before check-in time because that's when the cleaning is happening. So all
So
the
the room,
cottages
the
are
room
open.
was open. They went. So no, Tanvi screaming did the trick. What else? Then we had another guest like forcing us to give her free breakfast because she said Airbnb means bed and breakfast. I want breakfast.
So that was. Oh, we had one more thing. So previously, Airbnb did not have the number of pets.
You could put
either
pets.
that pet friendly or not pet friendly, right? So
Yeah.
one of the properties in Ratnagiri, which it's like a beautiful property for like possibly 4 people, and it was one guest who had booked and pet, and there's a pet fee as well, but the pet fee is just one pet fee.
And
You
like
can
it's like 300 rupees or so.
something. And that person came with 7 pets.
5 dogs and 2 cats.
No, there was a parrot or
Oh, there was
something.
a parrot also. There was a parrot as well in one car. And
It
it
was
was
one
big
person.
dogs. It wasn't like tiny little dogs. They were like Labradors and one parrot. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a parrot only. Haan, yeah, one parrot.
Some bird. I don't know if it was a parrot
Yeah,
or it was a
yeah.
bird. There was one bird. There were like 3.
Bugle. It was a bugle that I thought was a bee.
We don't know which
It was a
cat.
bird. One bird.
One bird, like few cats, more dogs than cats, and that person came alone. So that was a funny thing.
Yeah.
And then
But he was very nice, and the animals were also very sweet. And I mean, he
Yeah,
said
sure
he'd
they
come.
were, but
no, but then
Yeah.
later we had to tell Airbnb.
I don't know if it was because of us, but we did call them and we were like, help. Tomorrow someone will come with 10 dogs. What are we going to do? And now there is a button to like say how many pets you. I don't
Maximum
know if
number of pets.
I don't know if we did that, but I mean I like to think we did.
hey,
Like let us know
if it
Airbnb.
happened after you guys experienced it, then it's
Yeah.
kind of because of you.
Possibly, I don't know. We don't know. But yes, that was another funny experience of having so
Yeah,
many pets.
guests are funny. Guests, I mean, but like touchwood, we've been blessed with some really nice guests. We have guests who have been coming since our first property, and they go to all of them, and then there are these darlings that don't get annoyed when we spam them with a broadcast about a new property, and they'll like it and they'll send a reply saying, you know, like, so nice to see a new property, we'll definitely visit, lala. So
Yeah. So we
but
have a lot of
you need stuff like this to happen once in a while to keep life interesting, honestly. Like late at night, some message with some random thing. I locked myself in the toilet.
Does that happen?
Of course.
And then someone has to go and
I thank the Lord that we are in India, where you can get a key maker in, and they're very sweet also, and they are on Google and they ask for a review on Google as well. I have one in all locations.
Yeah. So we have some fun
Yeah.
guests and interactions that happen. I think all in all, our business is a very fun business, I would like to say, because it's so different and it's so every day is so different. Even for maybe for home design, you know, for the prefab structures, like, you know, there's so much creativity in it. Then with hospitality, it is all of that. And of course, you know, I would like to mention, since we are in the last segment, that we have a bunch of ladies who reply to guests on
guest
Airbnb,
relation managers.
guest relation managers for each of the properties. And by chance, it has happened that we only have ladies right now. And they are absolutely lovely ladies. We love all of them, and all of them are unique, and all of them
Yeah.
have their personalities, and it's so nice to know, like, you know, the brand also.
And I would say that they are on the older, mature side, retired, had careers or businesses but stopped for family reasons, etc., or simply wanted to do something with their time, don't necessarily need the money but like to be busy.
Yeah.
shout out to your team.
And the way they handle screaming guests, sassy caretakers, because our caretakers and cleaners also sometimes like to.
Yeah, of course.
And all again, amazing people, all of them amazing. It's not easy, you know. It's not easy for a regular house help that we have, for example, to start making beds that are in a hotel.
Yeah.
To put a duvet cover on a duvet alone, oh my god, like it's like wrestling with the duvet. But you know, they learned, they're amazing, they say nice things about. So we live in the same in the same locality, right? So the house helps also like sort of all talk to each other, right? So our caretaker who handles 2 of our properties is telling the other ladies that we get a lot of foreigners. So I have to go, I have a check-in. It makes my heart so happy
That's very sweet. Actually.
that this woman, one, is saying check-in and check-out.
Yeah.
2 is talking about how nice our guests are, and that she has to go and be punctual because check-in time.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's nice. So the team is amazing. These ladies are amazing. And I mean, I think it's also maybe the age group or where they are coming where they are in life also, that really they are so calm, right?
So
Like,
mature,
they-
so just stable, you know. They're like rocks,
like they don't feel anything.
not hassled, and
They are not
can be,
judgmental
okay?
about where it comes to these weird requests as well. Like it's like, okay, that's also cool. Like, you know, they're more like nurturing in a way, almost to
Yeah.
yes. So very, very calm, very elegant, just
Yeah, we
like
have
a wow.
one of, just like a wow. We have one who uses ChatGPT so well. When guests ask her weird things, first she would ask us, and then she realized that okay, Tanvi and Veda are like all like right now have no range and are sitting in the middle of nowhere. She started asking ChatGPT, and so we are co-hosts on everything, right? So I can, and then suddenly I see something like okay, this does not sound like Shraddha, and then I look and it has been generated by AI. Amazing. So yeah, I think the one part in our team that we are definitely missing is someone to bring in some sort of technological know-how, help. So yeah, we're just putting it out there. If someone would want to come and help us with not being super technologically challenged in everything, we'd really appreciate it, because there's a lot to explore on that side as well. We're doing great right now on Airbnb and the platforms that we are on, but just with website and Meta and quick replies on WhatsApp, and then there's just so much
Chatbots and
Yeah.
So yeah.
If someone wanted to come help us out with all of that, we'd be such happy and good customers and clients to have, because we'd not say anything. We'd be like, okay, cool. So yeah.
Well, this has been lovely.
Thank
I
you.
think we did a better job than the first time.
Hey,
So I'm
there was
happy.
some good nuggets, yeah, last time as well, but I think those are lost to the ages.
No, I think this time we have all of our businesses also a lot more laid out,
Settled and laid out, yeah, that's
It's
true.
been a while.
It
The
has
last
been a
time we
while.
shot, you were not married. Now you are. So
I am.
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks Tanvi. Thanks Veda.
Thank you.
And if there's anything you guys want to say as a last segment to the viewers, stage is yours, and then we'll stop.
Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe this video and all our YouTube videos. We have a channel as well called Scapa Home Design, and we will be putting out content. So,
Yeah.
But yes,
And
definitely.
come stay with us. We look forward to hosting everybody. Thank you.
Awesome.